right on the landing ground.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is the Morning Moment. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. I want today to highlight just one example of what's going on in what I call the European zone, in particular the UK. I want you to listen to a relatively short clip from a UK NEWStalk host, who I have to tell you now is in jail for going too far in his comments. But back in 2015, he said these comments. And whatever you think of his comments, and you'll see them on a link from on my website, remember, all I am doing is playing his comments about his country. It is basically underlining two things. The first being free speech in the UK is being crushed to benefit a minority of the population in the UK. And secondly, the same will be happening here very shortly, in short order. Makes you think, doesn't it? That's while you can, of course. Links, as always, on my website.
Yeah, certainly. My name is Tim Burton. I'm a member of Liberty GB, the political party, but I support the EDL because we have a huge problem with Muslim immigration, and this is something that's not just what the EDL says. No less a person than the former Archbishop of Canterbury, George Carey, has said exactly the same thing. There's too much Muslim immigration, and it has brought with it a lot of social evils.
What is it particularly about Muslim immigration over different religions?
Okay, with Muslim immigration, the social evils that I refer to are not just things like Islamic terrorism, which is carried out by Muslims in the name of jihad and Islam. It's also the rampant anti-Semitism that causes thousands of Jews to flee from the country. It's the systematic sexual abuse of our young female population. It's female genital mutilation, which goes unpunished, even though there's tens of thousands of instances in the country that we know about. It's honour killings, which are committed by Muslims 91% of the time worldwide. It's the disproportionate welfare parasitism, 5% of the population, 40% of the welfare costs. It's disproportionate criminality, 5% of the population, 15% in our prisons. I could go on and on. The thing is that it's this specific demographic, this specific Muslim male population that is causing these problems.
So what do you think we should do with these specific migrants that are turning into?
Well, when it comes to migrants, what we have to realise that it's being described as a refugee crisis by our politicians, but it's in fact nothing of the sort. They cease to be refugees once they have left the war zone, and they've travelled through so many countries that the best thing you could say about them is they're economic migrants. But there's more to it than that. When you're talking about Muslims, you look at the makeup of these so-called refugees, you'll see that 80% of them, 75 to 80% of them, are young, fit Muslim males, well-dressed, smartphones, designer clothes, fit and well-nourished. They are not refugees by any stretch of the imagination. And because of the fact that Muslims, by and large, do not integrate and assimilate into our countries, their presence in European countries and in the UK in particular is really no more than invasion or colonisation. And that is something that's actually written into Islamic scripture. But not a lot of people know this, but the Prophet Muhammad himself, back in the year 622, emigrated as part of his campaign to grow his religion of Islam. And it was considered so important that the entire Islamic calendar is based on that date from 622. And Muslims coming to Europe and to the UK today are doing no more than following in Muhammad's footsteps to invade and colonise and turn our European countries and the UK into Islamic countries. And that is not something that should be encouraged.
You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you will find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, Gab and email. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all my morning moments on Spreaker.com under A Radio. That's EHRADIO, A Radio. And please click on the like button. You can find all my podcasts and all my morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com. Click on the Morning Moments tab.